So we graphed the parent function. Now we're going to graph this transformed function. So let me show this. Okay, there's the parent. So transformed, let's see if you know the transformation. How many transformations are there? There's 3. Here's one. Horizontal translation. 7 left, because not a straight shooter. There is the 3. It's being multiplied, and it's with the y. I think it's blurry again. So vertical, you got to get good at this. Stretch by a factor of 3. Then the negative implies a reflection. It's with the I, but when it's a reflection, it's really over the x. Okay? So the vertex is always affected by what's being added or subtracted. So that would be -7, 0, because there's nothing on the outside. Okay? So I'm going to go -7, 0. So if I go -7, 0, there's my first one. Because look, it's transformed 7 to the left. And then it's vertically stretched, so it should be going something like this, really up high. And it should be reflecting over the x-axis. So here's the x-axis. If I reflected this, so it should be down here. And if you understand that, you know what x values you could pick and what y values you should get. Okay? So now here's the thing. What other x values could I pick? So let's see. I'm going to just go a little bit less. Do you think I could pick -6? Well, let's look. -6 plus 7 is 1. I can take the square root of 1, so I like that one. So -6 plus 7 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Times -3 is -3. So -6, -3. Look at that. It's already starting to go a lot quicker than this one. Can I pick -5? Can I pick -4? And some of you are like, oh, I don't want to guess. This is when the logic part of you comes in. It's super cute when it's these perfect little square roots. So what if I did this? If I went x plus 7 equals 1, x equals -6. Oh, I did that one there. So I covered that one, right? Because -6 plus 7 was 1. So that means if I want to know it for 4, I should go x plus 7 equals 4, which means x should be what number? -4. Let's see if it works. Wait, -3, just kidding, I can count. Okay, because you minus 7. So let's see if I'm right. -3 plus 7 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2 times -3 is -6. Look at that. It's being multiplied. Look at that. It's like times 3 times 3. Well, it's kind of times 2, but okay. So now -3, -6. Okay. The next value, I'm going to go x plus 7 equals 9. So what is x? 2. Let's see if it works. 2 plus 7 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3 times -3 is -9. Okay. So then I'm going to go right 2, down 9, and I think I did that. No, that's right 1. And look at that, it does match. So I moved to the left, it got kind of shorter in a sense, and then I flipped it. Okay? Axis of symmetry, there isn't one. I'm going to put this here. Now, the domain. The domain is everything to the right and everything to the left. It's only going to the right. And it's only going to the right representing this number right here. So, x is greater than or equal to -7, -7, positive infinity, because it's going to the right, positive infinity. Now the range is everything, that's the y, so I'm going to do the 0. But the problem is range means everything up and everything down. So it's only going down, which means negative infinity. So I always have to do the smallest one first. Negative infinity is smaller than 0, so it has to come first. If we're dealing with y, which is less than or equal to 0. Feel free to ask me questions if you have them. I cannot distribute, so vertex form is also standard form. Okay, I want to go over this problem. This will help you with the homework. So they want you to use the idea of the parent function and how it's in vertex form to help you. But this time we're dealing with a line. So if I have y equals x, in a sense, it's y equals a, x minus h plus k. Or remember, this was your vertex, and this was That would be your slope. So that means this would go here. Okay. And then this is a point because we don't know our vertex. So that would go in for the x, and that would go in for the y. And you would go 9 equals 4/5. 9 minus h plus k. I honestly think this way is way more difficult. So some of you might just do this because you remembered this from before. Y equals mx plus b, where your y is 9, your m is 4/5, your x is 3 plus b. Of course they give you a difficult one. Let's make this a 5, okay, because that's dumb. Number on top, number on bottom, by 9 equals 4 plus b. Subtract 4, b equals 5. So y equals 4/5 x plus 5. This is review from last year, okay? How is this problem different? This is going to be a homework problem, okay? We'll just do it together. So they want the equation. If I'm going to do an equation, I need slope, and I also need y-intercept to get my equation. This is review. They didn't give me slope or y-intercept, so I have to find the slope. Options are you can do y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, but I don't like doing that. I like putting them on top of each other. And I don't know if you remember, I did it in a different video. I did this problem. So it's going down by 7 and up by 9. So my slope is -7/9. Now, by the way, you can use this and you'll get the same thing. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing I did here. Y equals mx plus b. This is my slope. I'll pick a point. Honestly, both the points are not awesome. This is going to be a mean one. But I'll pick the smaller number. 5 equals -7/9 times -1 plus b. A negative and a negative make a positive. Anything times 1 is itself. Subtract 7/9. So 5 minus 7/9 is 4 2/9. Or 38/9. Whatever you want. This is all review from elementary school. So y equals -7/9 x plus 38/9. Now, by the way, if you forget, I'm not saying you're elementary. I'm saying you might have forgotten because it's been since elementary school when you learned this. If you didn't know that 5 minus 7/9 is 4 2/9, you use your calculator and you're going to get a decimal. And then you can convert it back to a fraction in decimals by pressing the fraction bar. If you didn't know that 4 2/9 is 38/9, then you're not going to write it that way. Okay, I want to go over this. These are the shapes. I'm not so sure why I have this here, but I want you to see it again. Look, we've got x squared, x cubed, exponential, rational. You're not even going to worry about step functions, but that's this. This is all types. This is constant. You're not even going to worry about this. Log is someday. This is cube root. This is square root, and this is absolute value. Okay? Have this kind of stuff as like a star, like, might need this someday, but it's another packet that's got my shapes. Okay, this one, you can do this. Get the equation in vertex form. So if you're doing the vertex form, depending on the shape, will depend on it. So if you look, if I have a shape like a square root, it's going to be this. Okay? Or if I have a rational, it's like this. That's an A, by the way. So you got to go back here and figure out the shape. Okay? All right, this one. This one, I don't know if you guys did this last year, and I think this was IM1 and everybody got lost. This was your freshman year or 2 years ago or whatever. Okay? So I'm going to remind you how to do this, and you're probably going to forget, and then I'll have to remind you again, because this one takes me a second too. If I gave you this, you would go, cool, I can add them, and they go away. And then ... I solve, get the y value, plug it in, get the x value. You've done that before. Okay? You're probably really good at that. But now, instead of giving you equations like this, I'm giving you these two equations, which are 2 equals a times b to the 0, and 1/2 equals a times b squared. So I know rules about exponents. I know that when I divide exponents, what does it really mean I'm doing? So if I have a squared over a squared, it's the same thing as subtracting, isn't it? So it cancels. It's gone. More on top, more on bottom. No, it's all gone. And in the previous problem, we had the x's go away. So I know that if I divide these, I could go a to the first divided by a to the first, and then the a is gone and I can solve for b. Now my only problem with this is if I have b to the 0 and b squared, I don't like my b's on the bottom, and I don't like my b's being negative. So I'm actually going to decide that I want to put this equation on the bottom, so that when I divide it, it'll be positive. A to the first divided by a to the first, we figured out was gone. Worry about the number later. B squared divided by b to the 0, more on top or more on bottom, top by 2 or subtract. Now my a is gone, and I go 1/2 divided by 2 is the same thing as 1/2 divided by 1/2, which is 1/4. Sorry, my head's in the way, I think. So now I go 1/4. How do you get rid of a square? You square root. Now some of you, that looks hard. Okay, what's the square root of 1? What's the square root of 4? And then whenever you have a squared, plus or minus. Now I know if I have an A and a B, that means that's going to go second. That also means I'm going to have positive 1/2 and negative 1/2 in my answer. So how the heck am I going to get A? Okay, let me do some more work. So let me come back here, and we have positive 1/2 and negative 1/2. So I'm just going to take the B, and I'm going to plug it in. So I'll take 1/2, and I'll plug it in here. I know it's definitely a pain in the tush, but you'll be okay. You know what? I'm going to plug it into this one, because I know what anything to the 0 power is. So if I go 1/2 to the 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. So that ends up being 2 equals a times 1, divided by 1, a equals 1. If I plug in negative 1/2 to the 0 power, it also equals 1. So I get 2 equals a times 1, and a also equals 1. Now you're going to do the same thing here that we did here. Now some of you go, it's the exact same thing. Very similar. All right, this is just matching, figure out which one is which, and you can't just go like this, you got to show some work. Which might just be the answer. All right, let's go to the next page. Imaginary numbers, we went over that, so let me give you a quick example. If I had the square root of -8, you would birthday cake it, and you would get 2I rad 2 as an example. This, you box it out. These are adding, so you just put the same together. I'll see if I can find a video that I did on that and put it in the help thing. This is what you did before, okay? This is solving, so this one, set it equal to 0. This one, what could you multiply everything by to get rid of the bottom? Yes, it's 3 pages, but you'll be fine. This, I'm going to do this one and you'll do this one, okay? This time they're going y equals a times b to the x, okay? Where a represents your start, so that means I already have that. And then I pick a point, and I'm going to solve for x. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time here. 48 equals 3 times b squared, divide by 3, square root, b equals plus or minus 4. Okay, so I have 2 equations. Y equals 3 times 4 to the x, and y equals 3 times negative 4 to the x. Okay, this one's a decimal. Change it to a fraction. It's the same thing, and it'll make more sense. You know this one, multiply, multiply, exponent, put it together. This one, distance. This is when you're going to do that big old distance formula, or you plot the points, do the Pythagorean theorem and go. And this is slope, which is either that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or you put the points on top of each other.